Matthew Stafford and Deshaun Watson set off fireworks in 2021 by requesting trades from their respective teams. So who's next? Before we get started, we just want to let you know about our awesome giveaway at the end of the month, where we'll be giving away $500 cash to 3 lucky subscribers. Consider this our way of giving back to you, the fans of TPS, who make all of this possible. To enter into our contest, all you need to do is subscribe and have your notifications on. And you've got to be commenting on our videos regularly throughout the month. So make sure you hit that bell along with liking and commenting on our videos. If you're already subscribed and have notifications on, then all you need to do is like and comment, and you'll be automatically entered into the random draw. Good luck. What is going on, guys? It's not hard to imagine that Watson and Stafford were the only disgruntled players who are ready for a change of scenery. There's bound to be others, and that's exactly what we're here to break down, as we look at 10 NFL players who should follow suit and demand a trade ASAP. Number 10, Derwin James. James had a rookie season for the ages in 2018. He earned Pro Bowl and All-Pro nods after notching 3 interceptions and 3.5 sacks, helping the Los Angeles Chargers record 12 wins and a wildcard spot. Unfortunately, James was limited to 5 games in 2019 because of a foot injury. He missed all of 2020 after undergoing surgery on a torn meniscus. Even when James returns, well, the Chargers defense has regressed notably over the last 2 years. Yes, they hired the crafty defensive-minded Brandon Staley to take over as their new head coach. But the former Rams coordinator doesn't have Aaron Donald or Jalen Ramsey to rely on anymore. The Chargers also like to play hardball in contract talks. So even if James comes back with an all-pro season in 2021, that still doesn't mean the Chargers will pay him what he's worth in 2022. So why even bother waiting around to find out? James could use a change of scenery. Now's the time to ask for a trade. Number 9, Odell Beckham Jr. Beckham played 7 games for the Browns in 2020 before suffering a season-ending ACL tear in Week 7. The Browns offense continued to flourish despite Beckham's absence. The Browns ended an 18-year playoff drought and upset the AFC North rival Pittsburgh Steelers in the wild-card round, before narrowly falling to the Kansas City Chiefs the following weekend. The future is more than promising in Cleveland under head coach Kevin Stefanski, but the Browns also have to ask themselves if OBJ should be part of that future. Numbers don't lie. The Browns' offense functioned at a higher level without Beckham, and probably because Baker Mayfield didn't have to force passes in his direction. Cleveland's offense isn't a great fit for Beckham's talents. It's just that simple. But he's still a capable game-changing force who can serve as the number 1 receiver on most other teams. That's why OBJ should ask for a trade to a team that will largely build this offense around him. The Packers, Miami Dolphins, New England Patriots, San Francisco 49ers, and Indianapolis Colts, for instance, could really use this guy. Number 8, Harrison Smith. The Minnesota Vikings are in a frustrating state where they're good enough to compete for a playoff spot, but nowhere close to contending for a Super Bowl. And a top 10 draft pick seems to be out of the question as well. Simply put, this team is stuck in no man's land. We can't see the Vikings contending in the stacked NFC. Everyone knows Kirk Cousins' limitations by now. And Mike Zimmer admitted that the 2020 group was the worst defense he ever had. Good luck fixing that overnight. So why should 5-time Pro Bowl safety Harrison Smith devote the remainder of his prime years to a team that has no long-term direction? Smith is still playing at a high level, and as he enters his age 32 season, the clock is ticking on a Super Bowl run. Smith has been more than loyal to the Vikings, but his best bet is to seek a trade to a contending team in need of a safety. Teams like the Browns, Baltimore Ravens, and Seattle Seahawks could sure use his services. Number 7, Matt Ryan. Ryan's contract is set up to the point where a trade is practically impossible to happen in 2021. But hey, nobody thought that Jared Goff's contract was movable. And look what happened. Ryan won't admit it publicly, but he's a lock to finish his career elsewhere. We'd be shocked if the new Falcons front office and coaching staff passed on a quarterback with the number 4 selection in 2021. Not when you can take your pick from the likes of Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, and Mac Jones. They gotta come away with one of them. If Atlanta takes a quarterback with that pick, Ryan should politely request a trade. Matthew Stafford finally did, and Ryan has every reason to chase a Super Bowl this late in his career. These Falcons are nowhere close to contending anytime soon. They're well behind their 3 NFC South rivals, and Ryan has several good years left in him. So why finish your career on a non-competitive team when you can be the final piece for a contender? Add it all up, and it's impossible to envision Matty Ice playing with Atlanta past 2021. Number 6, Stephon Gilmore. The 2019 Defensive Player of the Year popped up in trade rumors during the 2020 offseason. But Bill Belichick decided to give his superstar cornerback a raise for the time being. We're not sure if the Patriots are rebuilding or retooling. but it's hard to envision Belichick handing Gilmore a lucrative extension in 2022, when he'll be entering his age 32 season. And we all know Belichick's philosophy. Better to move on from a player 1 year too early rather than a year too late. So it probably makes the most sense for the two parties to end their 4-year partnership. There won't be a shortage of interest in the elite cornerback. Gilmore should seek a sign and trade deal of some kind and earn what he's worth in the final years of his prime, while Belichick can focus on rebuilding an aging defensive unit. Number 5, Justin Simmons. The Denver Broncos have had a rough stretch since 2016, but one thing that has gone right for this organization is their 3rd-round pick from that offseason, Justin Simmons. The safety out of Boston College has exceeded expectations thus far in his NFL career, to say the least. He was named a 2nd-team All-Pro in 2019, and he followed that up by making the Pro Bowl in 2020. Simmons was hoping to get a new contract that would have made him the league's highest-paid safety during the 2020 offseason. But when the Broncos were unwilling to budge, Simmons was forced to play under the franchise tag, and all he did was go out and record a career-high 5 interceptions for the season. Well, the two sides are back to square one going into the 2021 offseason, and it wouldn't surprise us to hear that they're even further apart this time around. That's because while Simmons may be looking for more money following his career year, the Broncos may be even more frugal with their spending this season, with the salary cap expected to decrease as a result of COVID. Would Simmons be willing to play on the franchise tag for another season? I mean, perhaps, but his best bet may be to demand a trade to a team that is willing to pay him like a top safety, which he is. He already gave the Broncos 1 year under the tag. Now it's on the team to get a deal done, else it's on Simmons to force his way out. Number 4, Julio Jones. Matt Ryan isn't the only Falcon who should look for a trade this offseason. While Matty Ice's contract makes a transaction difficult, the case is different with Jones. The superstar wideout is signed for 3 more years, and there's little reason to believe that his production will decline anytime soon. When healthy, Jones remains a top 5 NFL wide receiver. He and Ryan have been the NFL's most dynamic QB wide receiver duo in the past decade, but all good things must come to an end, and that includes their partnership with the Falcons. And though his loyalty to the franchise should be applauded, he has little reason to see the rebuild through. Most teams would line up at the chance to acquire Jones in a trade, especially Super Bowl contenders like the 49ers, Ravens, and Packers. This is really simple for Jones. He couldn't win a ring in Atlanta, so now it's time to find a new team that can help him achieve that goal. Number 3, Zach Ertz. Pro Bowl tight end Zach Ertz is entering the final year of his contract, and all indications are he has no interest in playing another season in Philly unless he's awarded with a new contract. The 30-year-old veteran was hoping that extension would come last year, and when it didn't, he wasn't shy to vent about it, telling reporters before the start of the 2020 season that he wanted to be in Philly for the long run, but didn't feel as though the feeling was mutual. Well, between the time he made those comments and now, things have only gotten worse for Ertz and the Eagles. Both the tight end and the team in general had disappointing campaigns, which resulted in head coach Doug Peterson's firing. The offensive line has also taken several steps back, and there's a big question mark at the quarterback position. Needless to say, this seems like the perfect opportunity for Ertz to demand his way out of town. Not only could a new team like the Steelers or Colts offer him a better shot at a championship, but he'd also be more likely to earn an extension with a new club, as the Eagles also have a very capable back tight end in Dallas Goedert. Simply put, Ertz just wants to feel loved again, and it doesn't seem like he's getting that love in Philadelphia, so it's time to move on. Number 2, Khalil Mack. The superstar pass rusher hasn't given any signs that he's unhappy with the Bears. That doesn't mean he shouldn't be willing to finish out his contract there, though. The Bears don't have much of a long-term direction here. Not good enough to win it all, but not bad enough to rebuild. Chicago's defense is arguably a top 5 unit, sure, but they can never find an answer at quarterback. And with Allen Robinson likely leaving in free agency, that offense could somehow be on the verge of getting even worse. Mack has given the Bears everything they could have asked for over these last 3 years. The guy has not faltered at all. He's a beast. He's a beast. You know he's a beast. He knows he's a beast. They know he's a beast. However, who knows how many top-notch seasons he has left? We'd hate to see him go down as one of the all-time greats to never win a Super Bowl. It's a travesty that he's only suited up in 3 career playoff games too. Mack may want to give it another go in the Windy City, in hopes that the offense could finally figure things out. He'll read between the lines and come to the realization that his best chances at a ring lie elsewhere. Number 1, Aaron Rodgers. After the Packers lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFC Championship game, Rodgers acknowledged that his future was a mystery. Soon after, Jason LaConfora of CBS Sports spoke to coaches and executives who believe Rodgers and the Pack are headed for a divorce. Let's just say that Rodgers hasn't been shy in voicing his frustrations with the Packers. Clearly, him and LaFleur don't see eye to eye. Rodgers nicely questioned the coach's decision to not go for it on 4th and goal during Green Bay's final drive. The Packers, by the way, failed to supply Rodgers with some much-needed pass-catching help and a stacked 2020 draft. Instead, they took a successor, Jordan Love, which didn't please Rodgers at all. He must have been so pissed. Add it all up and you can't help but think that maybe Rodgers really should seek a trade for a team that actually wants to build around him. By drafting Love, the Packers have made it clear that their priority is the future, not the present. Imagine Rodgers on the 49ers or Patriots. He'd instantly make one of those clubs a Super Bowl favorite. Why wouldn't he want that? 2021 marks his age 37-38 season. The clock is ticking. If he wants to win more Super Bowls, Rodgers has to put his plan in motion. That plan is to tell the Packers it's time to move on. He should follow the map Watson pieced together in Houston and look for a trade out of town immediately. What other NFL superstars need to demand a trade ASAP? Join me in the comment section below. Make sure to follow myself and TPS on social media. We post great content all the time. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, we're on everything. Go find us, go subscribe, go follow, go do the whole thing. If you like this video, give it a like. It takes one click down below, and subscribe to TPS. We post videos every day. Every day is a new video. Of course, thank you so much for watching. I'm Jason Biondo. See you next time.
My knee.